in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Your business runs like a well-oiled machine. It's important that your actual machines do too. Stern is here to make sure you don't have to worry about that. They provide solutions for heavy equipment and automotive fuels, lubricants, and equipment guard options. And with Stern's commitment to customer service for the past 40 years, you know you have a partner to help support your operations for years to come. Contact Roger at Stern Company by calling 1-800-477-2744 or visit them online at stern.co. Stern Company, where problems meet solvers.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello and welcome into the Daily Nebraskan show right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. I am Ben Droz, one of the sports writers at the DN, and I'm joined here, like every Wednesday, by Anthony Rubik, one of the assistant sports editors at the DN. Anthony, how are you doing tonight?
Doing well. You know, this is going to be my last show of the semester. So,
on the weeknight.
On the weeknights.
We'll see.
We'll see what it looks like going forward. But, you know, it's been fun. It's been real. And I'm excited for this episode.
It's been real. No, it's been awesome. Glad you've been able to be on the show, and it's been great. But without further ado, let's get into it because this is our last Wednesday show of the summer, spring. I don't even know. What do I even call this time right now? Like, are we in spring? I don't even know. I have no clue.
We just kind of like skipped spring.
I know. Like it doesn't. I guess it's spring. I'm gonna say beginning of summer, but we are going to start the show off with Husker baseball talk because they just had a game tonight, and yep. I'm just gonna say when Anthony walked in, the first thing he said was that game was rough.
It was.
So it was a rough game. They lost 10-6.
Yep.
Lost 10-6. Anthony, first, I just want you to give your overall thoughts. What happened in the game? What went wrong? Give us the deets.
Yeah, this is the worst loss of the season for Nebraska.
The worst.
I believe.
The worst?
I think so. I think South Dakota State, this is a team that is at the bottom of the Summit League standings. Summit League is a 6-team conference, and they're at the bottom of that. Beat Nebraska already earlier in the year when they were going on that midweek skid. Nebraska looked like they finally got over that hump, finally got that chip off their shoulder last week when Jackson Brockett threw a no-hitter against Kansas State, but just right back into it this week. They were up 6-2 at the start of the 8th inning, only for South Dakota State to score 8 runs in the final 2 innings, including 2 3-run home runs. And it's just an absolute brutal loss at this time for Nebraska, a quad 4 loss.
Mm-hmm.
This was a team that a lot of people were still saying had a chance to host a regional. This loss completely moves them out of it. And yeah, it just really leaves a bad taste in your mouth going forward to the rest of the season where they play some great Big Ten teams in their last 2 series. And then, of course, the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the big thing is host regionals because that's kind of been all the talk. That's kind of been all the hype because it was like they did have a chance. Like they had a pretty good chance. I'm just going to first ask this. Do they still have any kind of a chance? Or do you think this just completely like 0% chance that they would host?
Yeah, I don't think they have a chance. I don't know exactly how baseball RPI works and stuff like that. I mean, Nebraska is 24th right now. the top 16 teams in the country host a regional. But this is just a quad 4 loss.
Yeah, it's
to
gonna bump them
a
down.
team that might not even make their own conference tournament. They're in a 16 conference, and only 4 teams make their conference tournament, so they might not even make it in there. And yeah, Nebraska, I mean, they'd have to play perfectly throughout the rest of the year.
I mean, if they win their last 6,
then they'd have to probably still win the Big Ten, I would think, as well, the Big Ten tournament.
I mean, yeah,
But
it's pretty much out of reach at this point, because that, like, while that could happen, it's not very plausible that that's going to happen, because that's not really how the season's been going for Nebraska. But definitely disappointing loss. But I know there's one thing, pitching, because they gave up 10 runs, and I knew you had something you wanted to bring up about that, Anthony. What happened with the pitching? They gave up 10 runs.
It's very interesting to look at. Nebraska played 10 pitchers tonight.
10.
There's 9 innings in
Spanish, Diaz.
There's 9 innings in a baseball game. They played 10 pitchers, gave up 10 runs.
Wow.
But
a run for each pitcher.
Except it didn't add up that way, because all the runs came in the last 2 innings. Basically, it wasn't the first 6 pitchers that lost the game for Nebraska. It was the last 4.
That's the quote of the day. Dude, it wasn't the first 6 pitchers that lost them the game.
I'm doing math right now. It's really
just realize how dumb that sounds.
I know, and that's what I'm thinking reading this off. Like, there's looking at some of these pitchers' lines. They pitch 0.1 innings, so they pitch one batter, pitch 2 batters, and then they just get subbed out. Like Jalen Worthley is having a great year out of the bullpen. He pitched 1.1 innings today, had 2 strikeouts, faced 4 batters, didn't give up a hit, didn't give up a walk, and then they just took him out. Kyle Froelich came in, gave up 3 hits, loaded the bases, got them out of the jam, didn't give up a run. So, wasn't the worst case scenario, but then they just take him out after that. And it really is kind of mind boggling, especially this late in the year. I would get like early in the season, just throwing guys in, seeing which ones find their groove, stuff like that. But at this point, this is your final midweek game of the year. You should know who would be good to go, at least for more than half an inning, not even for some of these pitchers. It's just very, very weird. I don't get it. And it just shows me a lot that pitching early in the season, that was the main gripe against Nebraska is, can they find some constant arms, some steady arms? They found 2 good starting pitchers in Brett Sears, who has been phenomenal all year, and then Mason McConaughey, who's been a great Saturday guy. But really after that, there's still just a whole lot of question marks. Jackson Brockett threw the no-hitter last week, got the start tonight, only pitched 3 innings, gave up 2 hits, 1 run. So it's just very wild to see.
I mean, 10 pitchers in a 9-inning game that's a lot. And I mean, can you point your finger as to like any reason why it's not like you're trying to like rest pitchers or anything. You said they weren't doing that bad at the beginning. I mean, the last 4 pitchers gave up a lot of the runs, but it's not like a lot of them didn't even play that bad and still got pulled. Like, do you feel like it was him, like Nebraska just trying to test everyone out? Like, I don't know.
I would guess that'd be the case, but again, I just don't know why. I mean, I guess it makes sense doing this in a midweek game. I understand that, but you had all season to do this. And it really just, especially at the end there, it seemed like the guys they were putting in were really struggling. I mean, Casey Dice got a credit for the loss, gave up 4 hits, 4 earned runs. And this was a guy who before the season started, Will Bolt was saying he had the potential to be a great closer for Nebraska, and that really just hasn't quite worked out. So it's very, very just wild, just how, again, you had these pitchers like Kyle Perry even pitched, faced 2 batters, had 2 strikeouts, just took him out after that. Put in a guy who gave up 2 hits, 2 runs, or 3 runs, 2 earned runs. And that really just, I think, proved to be the most costly error for Nebraska this game, as their offense was getting hits. Their offense got them 6 runs, but
Mhm.
they got two kind of cute playing pitchers towards the end of this game, and it really just came back to bite him.
I mean, yeah, Brockett, I mean, after having his no-hitter, what, was that a week ago?
Yep,
Today?
exactly.
Week ago today? What did he do? He gave up 2 hits, 1 run. I mean, not terrible, but again, it's just like very weird to see 10. Like, and I mean, also South Dakota State, they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pitchers.
Yeah.
So there were 17 pitchers that played in this game.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like that's unheard of. Like, has there been like some kind of a record that got broke? I come on.
Yeah.
17. That's just wow. But I want to preview the week ahead because Nebraska has 2 more weekend series against Big Ten teams before they go into postseason. This upcoming I'm pulling up the schedule right now. This upcoming one, I believe, is against Michigan State. No, Michigan State's the second one. They have Indiana
yeah.
this weekend, and then Michigan State the next weekend. Actually, against Michigan State, it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That's a little weird. But yeah, they have Indiana this weekend, then Michigan State next weekend. What are your thoughts?
This series against Indiana is a big one. Indiana has the same record in conference as Nebraska. They're both 12-6.
Yep.
So it's very big. The whole top of the Big Ten is very heated. And this is a great weekend for Big Ten baseball. I mean, the top 6 teams are Illinois, Purdue, Nebraska, Indiana, Iowa, and then Michigan. And then I don't know exactly what the matchups are, but all 6 teams are playing each other. Nebraska's playing Indiana, and then 2 of those teams are playing each other, and the other 2 are playing each other. So a very competitive week that's really going to shake out the rest of these Big Ten standings for the Big Ten tournament. And yeah, Nebraska, again, they probably won't have the chance to host a regional anymore, but they're still well in play for a Big Ten regular season title. The Big Ten tournament's in Omaha, so Nebraska fans are going to show out to that. But this is just some big momentum going forward that, even if they don't win the Big Ten tournament, they still want to have the resume that gets them an at-large bid in a regional. Something I think that they are well on their path to at this point, but still, it's very important, and you're going to need these wins.
Yeah, I mean, if you would have said at the beginning, like before the season started, that Nebraska would be in this position, what's even their overall record? I know it's 30-17. If I would have told you they were 30-17, they just had a pretty bad loss, but they were in contention to host a regional, kind of like I don't want to say the entire season, but like these last few weeks, they've really been in contention to do that. They're 12-6 in the conference, 16-7 at home, 13-8 away. Like, if I would have told you all those things, would you have said that was a great season for Nebraska so far, a really good season? Like, what would you have said?
Yeah, I think that would be a great season. They've looked better than they have last year. Last year they had 33 wins total, only 15-9 in the Big Ten. And really, just if we're talking about sheer talent, last year's team was probably better. I mean, they had guys like Bryce Matthews and Max Anderson, 2 guys who were drafted in the first 2 rounds of the MLB draft. They had Emmett Olson, Jace Kaminska, 2 other pitchers that were drafted in the MLB. The talent was there. It's just they couldn't really, whether it was pitching, whether it was, hitting got cold a lot of those games. They had the midweek struggles, and overall they didn't make a regional. So it was just a very disappointing year for Nebraska. So if you would have told me how they look like going into this week, I would say this season was generally a success, but there's also still work to be done now, looking at just how the rest of the Big Ten is shaping out and how this is a good individual year for Nebraska, but they could really get some accolades here. They could get some championships.
Yeah, I mean, we had a text on text line saying that Nebraska has the best RPI in the Big Ten, but they're also wondering about the midweek games. I mean, it is just so interesting how Nebraska at times, I'm just going to say, it looks incompetent in the midweek games. Like, you go from having a no-hitter playing amazing, that was Kansas State, right?
Yep.
To, and that Kansas State team better than South Dakota State.
Oh, yeah.
And then it gets South Dakota State, you lose 10-6 and you had 10 pitchers play. Like, it's just like night and day, and there's just a week apart. It's not like I'm talking about that was 2 months ago, and this is now this was a week apart. And this looked like 2 completely different teams. And I don't know why. I can't even point to one reason. But before we wrap it up and go to break, I kind of what is your prediction with this weekend series against Indiana? Do you think they win it 2-1, they sweep, get swept? What are you thinking?
I think Nebraska's going to win this series. It's their last home series of the season. I think they win 2-1. I think it's really going to play out the same as majority of their series this year. Brett Sears is going to have a quality outing on Friday, pitch 7 innings or however many. Nebraska gets the win. Mason McConaughey has a good night on Saturday, get another win. And then I think they will drop the Sunday game. They've been going with Will Walsh, who hasn't been having the best year, but that's really, again, just going forward. Nebraska's going to need pitchers to step up. At least at this point last year, they had Will Walsh was playing great baseball, better baseball than he was now, especially as pitcher. So they kind of had him as that solid third guy that they felt comfortable with. But really right now, they really are still looking for one. And then they're still looking for a top reliever. Last year, Shea Shanneman was amazing at the end of the year, was an all Big Ten player. But yeah, that's proved a fault in this midweek game, as you know, you could throw in your Friday's reliever in during a midweek game in the same type of role, trying to get a save. But yeah, I think the first 2 games Nebraska should get. Third game, I'm a little iffy on.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of been the story of this season, where they start these midweek games pretty strong. I mean, not midweek, weekend series pretty strong, like win the Friday, Saturday, and then pitching kind of catches up to them. They lose. They've dropped a lot of Sunday games. So honestly, that's probably a pretty good prediction. I also agree. It's not going to be a sweep either way, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be 2-1 or 1-2 for Nebraska. Either way, I mean, this is a big series though, because I mean, like you said, these two are neck and neck in the conference standings. So it's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out. But with that, we're going to throw it to break. When we come back, we're going to get some NBA talk in, because playoffs continuing, and I hear the New York chants going because
oh man,
a little birdie told me that they got another win tonight. So we're going to touch on that and more right here on the Daily Nebraskan Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
RC's Boxing Production is proud to present the new prospects at the Complex. Come enjoy a show of Lincoln's best professional and amateur boxers on Saturday, May 25th at the Complex, the former location of Champions Fun Center. Doors open at 6 p.m. with first bout at 7 p.m. Learn more about the boxers and buy tickets at thecomplexlincoln.com. You won't want to miss this event. It's the new prospects at the Complex on Saturday, May 25th at 1555 Yolanda Avenue, right off of Cornhusker Highway.
High schoolers, unleash your creativity and learn about potential careers in broadcasting at the Digital Expressions Media Camp. Have fun, make friends, and get hands-on experience with video and radio production June 9th through the 14th at the University of Nebraska at Kearney. Scholarships are available from the Nebraska Broadcasters Association, and spots are limited. Learn more at digitalexpressionscamp.com. That's digitalexpressionscamp.com.
Unearth the secret to long-lasting tires at Tread's Central Tire Pros, a league apart in commitment, service, and expertise. This isn't just about rubber meeting the road, but trust, safety, and surety converging in perfect harmony. This is where expectations are exceeded every time. Make your appointment today at Tread's Central Tire Pros, just south of Cortland on Highway 77, or visit our website to explore our services. Remember, when it comes to tires, choose Tread's Central Tire Pros, because we tread differently.
Hey, baseball fans, join the Blur Tailgate at Hilton Omaha this June for our 12th annual hospitality event during the College Baseball Championship Series. Book an experience for your clients or employees with an inclusive bar, buffet, TVs, music, and tailgate games. Secure your spot today and let Blur Events take care of all the work so you can enjoy the day. Plus, we're just steps away from Charles Schwab Field. Visit blurevents.com to book your group, buy tickets, or learn about sponsorships. That's blurevents.com, your college baseball and football tailgate destination.
Do you need your event or venue secured? Call Tank Security Team. Tank Security Team is Lincoln's #1 non-lethal security company. Tank Security Team offers first-class security with efficient and quicker response times. Hire Tank Security Team. No hassle, no headaches. Call Tank at 402-310-3589 and get secured today.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? By their clothes? Their age, the way they speak? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job,
not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
Or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner. Or a 14-year-old girl who signs up to every after-school activity, not to make friends, but just to get something to eat. Or a retiree who fell ill and had to choose
between getting medicine or groceries.
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. People you pass by every day but never knew were hungry. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
Liberty Law Group is committed to the defense of your liberty and pursuit of your justice for those that have been injured. My name is Seth Morris, attorney with Liberty Law Group. If you've been injured in an accident that wasn't your fault, call 877-42-LIBERTY. Our relentless trial attorneys are committed to the highest quality legal representation. At Liberty Law Group, we will fight for you. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Again, that's 877-42-LIBERTY.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it twice a day.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it in the morning and before dinner.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it, and share it with my doctor. Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor.
Now that I know my blood pressure numbers, I talked with my doctor. We're getting those numbers down.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Learn more at manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into the Daily Nebraskan show right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Ben and Anthony still here with you. As now we're going to get into NBA talk because NBA playoffs right here. We only had one game tonight, which was kind of weird. I was like, why didn't the Timberwolves and Nuggets play? They don't play till Friday. What's up with that?
Yeah.
Just weird scheduling with the NBA. So we only got one game. I mean, for me, I really don't care about the Pacers-Knicks game that much because I don't think New York Knicks fans actually exist, and I don't like the Pacers that much. So I really didn't care about this game. But you know what? I'm happy for Knicks fans.
I'm not.
I'm happy for Knicks fans. And I'm going to tell you this. They have endured so much. Knicks fans are kind of like Husker fans. Their team was pretty good. The Knicks' history is not as great as Nebraska's history, relative. Obviously, Knicks only have one championship. I think they only have one.
And that was in like the 70s.
Yeah. So but still, the team was really good, in 90s, 80s, 70s, and then ever since the turn of the century, it's just ugh. The brightest spot was when Jeremy Lin and Carmelo Anthony were playing basketball. That's their bright spot. So you know what? Good for them that they're going to get to a conference finals and then get swept by the Celtics. You know what? I'm happy for them. I don't know why getting to this conference finals means so much to them. Like, I don't see much of a difference between conference finals and the second round. I'm just like, what's the difference between losing in the second round and losing in the conference finals? I really
Pride,
don't. I really
yes.
don't see a difference. Now, losing in the finals, that's different. But like, I don't know. Like Knicks fans are very happy that they're going to get to the conference finals, and you know what? They deserve it. You know, they're good. They're a passionate fan base, and
I just know down in NYC right now, there's a F Trae Young chant just breaking out. There's probably at least a couple in that game tonight. I mean, that playoff series, again, you know, I always like to reminisce about my Hawks back when they were good, back on that 2021 playoff run. But
fluke.
Trae Young, you know, the owner of New York City, had he still lives in their heads rent free. I see it after every win on Twitter. Trae Young somehow gets brought up in their celebration. So
that's just how bad they beat them that series, which is so weird. Like, bro, they were so passionate about the series, they were gonna lose next series anyways.
Yeah,
even if the Knicks did beat the Hawks. Like, again, it's just like that's the one thing about this Knicks team that I just don't get. It's like the way they've constructed this team. They're just not a championship contender at all, finals contender at all. Like, this is a fun team. They can win a round or two, but you know they're not a championship contender. They're not winning the finals. This team's not built for that. They're not good enough for that. Jalen Brunson's awesome, but like I literally can't realistically see any way that this team beats the Celtics. Even if they did beat the Celtics, there's no way they're beating Timberwolves, Thunder, Nuggets. Like, they're not beating any of those teams. So I don't know. The way they built their team is very weird. They like built their team on just like middling players, and they have Jalen Brunson, who's good. He's really good, but is he better than SGA, Anthony Edwards, Jokic?
No.
So just the way they built their team is not built for a finals contender, but they're a playoff contender, and they're going to probably get to the conference finals.
Yeah, they're just a lot of guys who've really bought into that culture over there with Tom Thibodeau. I mean, the Villanova trio, really, with Josh Hart and Dante DiVincenzo, those are two guys who, again, are not like they're not star players. They're great players. You know, they're good players in this league.
They're not great players. They're good.
Yeah, exactly. But they've really shined in this offense and on this team in general with great defense. OG Anunoby has been a great piece that they traded for as well.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's again these guys like this is a Eastern Conference Finals team when I'm looking at it. This is not an NBA Finals team.
Yeah, but you know what? One of the producers here, Rico, was playing the Go New York song. So you know what? I'm happy for him because you know he's a Knicks fan. He's already gone through enough. He can have this small victory. But with that, I want to throw it because I feel like on this show I haven't gotten to talk about the Bucks because we just kind of swept it under the rug that the Bucks they got gentlemen swept against the Pacers. They did 6.
6.
It was 6. Okay, but really not close. I get they had no Giannis, no Dame. But can we talk about how the Damian Lillard trade made this team worse? Because from the jump, my initial thought was, yes, Damian Lillard, Giannis, that's going to be a dangerous duo. But like Drew Holiday, them not having Drew Holiday on defense was going to backfire on them. I could just tell. Like the impact Drew Holiday made on the defensive end was so vital for the Bucks when they did win their finals. Like, even when you go back when they had Eric Bledsoe, he was terrible on offense, but he was still a good defender. You had Drew Holiday, a good defender. Like, this is like the first time that a Bucks team has been built around a point guard that's not a good defender in Damian Lillard. He's not like terrible, but like, you know, he's not Drew Holiday or even Eric Bledsoe. Like, he's not either one of those players. So it's just really it's interesting that they decided to go that route. I'm not too surprised because, you know, they hadn't had too much success outside of that finals run. But man, like they really missed Drew Holiday on the defensive end, in my opinion. And that was kind of the thing that's made the Celtics team take the next step is Drew Holiday on the defensive end. Like the Celtics didn't need another star player. They just needed a guy that could just bring the grit and energy. And like Marcus Smart kind of was that guy, but let's face it, I feel like Drew Holiday's better than Marcus Smart.
Yeah, I think Marcus Smart might be a better defender just a little bit than Holiday, but then Holiday makes up for that on the offensive end, where he's levels ahead Marcus Smart for that. And yeah, the Bucks. I don't blame them for bringing in Lillard. I mean, especially you already have the champion. You already had won a championship, so it's not like you guys haven't came close to winning one and haven't got it. So I get why bring in the other superstar player, get out a guy who is getting up there with age, but still proved to be a very vital key player for them. But I really think the first round series against Indiana goes 100% differently if Giannis is playing. I honestly think the Bucks win that.
I agree, but there was still something missing with this team because like the Bucks have always been the regular season. Like they just dominated the regular season. And this is like the first year that they just really didn't dominate the regular season. And like that's just so unlike the Bucks because even in like years when Giannis has been hurt for extended periods of time during the regular season, they still like were number one, if not number two team in the East. This year was like the Celtics and then like everybody else. Bucks are like nowhere even near the Celtics in the regular season. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they take this offseason on because like Damian Lillard, he didn't want to even go to Milwaukee in the first place. All the reports were that he wanted Miami. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Heat fan. Like literally that's what all the reports said. And Joe Cronin didn't like Pat Riley or the Heat. So he sent them to Milwaukee. And I don't know, man. Like, I don't even know if he really likes it there, to be honest.
Yeah, it's just very interesting. Not the outcome he thought that he would get going into this year. And he was really one of these players when the playoffs started. I know they were without Giannis, but really the most pressure was on him, I think, out of just all these star players on winning a championship, stuff like that. As that's
he finally has the other star.
Yeah, he finally has help after spending his entire career in Portland. But yeah, it just proved not to be the case.
I mean, Giannis was hurt, but still. It would have been interesting. Like, even if the Bucks did beat the Pacers, they would have had a tough time against the Knicks. I feel like even if they did beat the Knicks, they would have gotten stomped by the Celtics, the Bucks, even if they had Giannis and Dame. Like this Bucks team was just not good enough. So they're definitely gonna have to change stuff when they go into the offseason. But I want to go on to the other side because Celtics Cavs, I don't even really want to talk about that because I feel like everyone knows what's happening there. Celtics, if they don't sweep them, gonna gentlemen sweep them. But Timberwolves, Nuggets, they're gonna be playing on Friday. And me and Joseph were talking about this yesterday and how he thinks Anthony Edwards is saving the NBA because Anthony Edwards is going to be the new face of the NBA. And I wanted to get your thoughts on this because I don't know how much I'm sold yet on Anthony Edwards being the face of the NBA. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know if I would say face of the league. I still think like a guy like Luka Doncic or something that.
That's the name I keep bringing up.
He's the face. Especially, I think just with all he's done, while he hasn't had the playoff success really.
They got to the conference finals.
Yeah, they got to the conference finals. Anthony Edwards, Minnesota, maybe if they win the championship this year and, Anthony Edwards wins finals MVP, I could see that, but I think it's a little too early to tell right now.
But he's saying the next face of the NBA.
Yeah, I don't know. He's a great player. He's having a outstanding playoffs, but I still think Luka. I think maybe even SGA. For OKC. I mean, these guys are already MVP finalists and are playing each other in the playoffs. SGA led a very young OKC team to the number 1 seed in a very competitive Western Conference. I would take one of those guys up as being the next face before Anthony Edwards, but again, we'll see how the rest of this playoffs shake out.
See, and this is my next topic, MVP, because Jokic, you didn't even bring up Jokic's name.
Yeah, exactly.
NBA. Jokic won his 3rd MVP in 4 seasons, right?
Yep.
3 out of the last 4. They gave Joel Embiid a pity MVP.
Yeah, I think
he didn't deserve it that year.
Should have been Jokic.
It should have been Jokic 4 years in a row, which a lot of people are getting tired of it. But I feel like this was the first year he didn't deserve it.
I can see it.
In my opinion, this is the first year he didn't deserve it. I'm not saying he didn't deserve it like he wasn't good or anything. I'm saying Luka deserved it. I think Luka Doncic, just look at, I'm pulling up the stats right now because Luka was so good this year. And like, it's like people just like forget how good Luka is. Like, I remember 2 years ago when they got to that conference finals, like I was saying Luka was the next face of the NBA. After LeBron, it was going to be Luka. And I still feel like that's probably the case, but not if they're just going to rob him of these MVP trophies. Okay, this was Luka's stats this year. He averaged 33.9 points per game, 33.9, so basically 34. 9.2 rebounds per game, 9.8 assists per game. Like, and the only other, and he has Kyrie, and Kyrie's amazing. But outside of Kyrie, that team really doesn't have much. And yet, he got them past a Clippers team that has, I know they didn't have Kawhi during the playoff series, but still, a team has Kawhi, Paul George. Why am I blanking on every single Clippers players? Is Marcus
James Harden?
Yeah, James Harden. There we go. Like that's a good Clippers team, but he got them past that team. And like, I don't know, man. Luka he's so good. I don't get why, like, his name wasn't. I know he was a finalist and everything, but like, why was he not considered more than Jokic? I don't get it.
I think it's very interesting because I think that, again, you could make a case for Jokic not deserving MVP, but my pick was SGA. I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I like to value overall team success in when it comes to most valuable player. And I think you could say the same with Luka. You could say the same with Jokic, but really taking Shai off of this OKC team, I don't know where they're at. They're an incredibly young team, and yet he led them with 30 points a game, shooting 53% from the field, 6 assists, 5.5 rebounds, led them to the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. And they when he is on the court, they are just so cohesive. They are just a complete group. They have great chemistry, and he's really just facilitating all of that. And yeah, I think this was a very competitive race for MVP. I could see cases for all 3 players. But
but
I think this should have gone to SGA personally.
See, I would agree with that, but like, can we define what MVP is? Okay, MVP stands for most valuable player, and now in my mind, that means most valuable player to that team. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, if you take this player off this team, how much worse are they? Okay, if you take Jokic off Denver, Denver's still probably a playoff team.
Maybe.
Okay. Thunder, if they don't have Shai, still a very good young team. Still, like, obviously all these teams would get worse, obviously.
Yeah.
But like, if you take Luka off the Mavericks, this actually might be one of the worst teams in the league.
Just Kyrie Irving,
and Kyrie, if it's just him there,
yeah,
he's not like he's not
not a number 1 guy, I think.
Like, Luka is this team. And I get you could say the same thing with SGA and Jokic. But like, why is there already voters fatigue with Luka? It's like everyone's like, yeah, it's Luka. He's never won an MVP, and there's already voters fatigue. Like, they don't want to vote for him. Like,
why they vote for the guy with 3 MVPs?
I know, this is what I'm saying. Like, why is there not voters fatigue with Jokic? Like, come on. The only reason LeBron has does he only have like 4 MVPs?
I think
something
so.
like that. The only reason LeBron only has like 4 or 5 is because there is voters fatigue. People were just tired of voting for him year after year.
Yeah,
after
4
year.
MVPs.
Like, okay, LeBron is in year 20? He should have more than 4 MVPs. Okay, he's literally been the best player for the last 20 years. He should have more than 4 MVPs. This is why the MVP award, I mean, just in general, is stupid because people just like get voters fatigue. But Luka hasn't even won one, and they already have voters fatigue for him, which is so like, I don't get it. I think he is just as good at the game of basketball as Jokic. I just think Jokic has a better team. Honestly, I just think Jokic has Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., a good coach. Jason Kidd's okay, but still, like, if you give Luka the same kind of supporting cast, same talented of supporting cast, like this Mavericks team would be one of the best teams in the Western Conference.
Yeah, it's just very interesting, the voter fatigue. I remember it back in James Harden's prime.
Yeah.
He only won 1 MVP. I think there's really 3 other seasons where he, I think, deserved that award. I mean, the year Westbrook won, the year Giannis first won.
Westbrook got the triple-double. I mean, they kind of had to give it to him that year.
Yeah, but then OKC, they were like a 6th seed in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Again, I like to value team success in it. And look, those Rocket teams, I know he had Chris Paul that one year, but take James Harden off those Rockets teams. They're nowhere near. They might not even be a playoff team. And he was just one of the best scorers we've ever seen in the game in those peak years. But yeah, it's very interesting to see. And that's what I thought. I thought voter fatigue played a case in Jokic last year when they gave it to Embiid.
It did.
And yeah, but then they just bring it back this year. I don't know. I still think SGA. I think SGA, and same with Luka, his time will come around, I still think. He's been close. He's been a finalist this year. People have always tabbed him as a future MVP. I think when he's going to win it, it's going to be just like, it's going to be like about dang time.
I mean, yeah, when I go through this list, so it's been Jokic 3 out of the last 4 years. Only reason he didn't win in 2023 is because of voters fatigue. Then it was Giannis. And I feel like they didn't want to give Giannis the third one, so they gave it to Jokic because Giannis honestly could have won that 2021 one.
Yep.
James Harden got it once. And then the 2019 race between him and Giannis and James Harden was very close. Giannis got it. Again, I feel like it was because of voters fatigue, because they didn't want to give it to James Harden twice, so they gave it to Giannis. Steph Curry won 15-16 because Steph Curry was just so great. Russell Westbrook averaged a triple-double for the first time ever in 2017, so they had to give it to him. But, like, LeBron won it in 09, 010, 2012, 2013. He won 4 out of 5 years. Derrick Rose had the one amazing year in 2011. They got voters fatigue, so they're like, let's give it to Kevin Durant. Even though LeBron was better than Kevin Durant, in my opinion, they just like, let's give it to Kevin Durant. We don't want it to give it to LeBron again. Like, voters fatigue with this is just so crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like, it honestly makes me mad because I don't know. I don't know why Luka's name is just not getting thrown on this list at all. Like, I know he was a finalist, but like, put respect on Luka's name, man. He's one. He, in my opinion, is the next face of the NBA. If you want, like, I honestly wouldn't be like, I don't think the Mavericks are going to beat the Thunder because like the Mavericks don't have a good enough team. Like, once Luka finally leaves the Mavericks, because I have a feeling he's gonna eventually leave the Mavericks. Like, he's not gonna just continue to deal with mediocrity. But once he leaves and gets on a good team, like, he's literally gonna be the next face of the NBA. Like, he's gonna be what everybody talks about because he's in the same, like, I feel like the reason Jokic won't be the next face of the NBA is not because he's not good enough. It's because he plays the center position, which people don't like the center position that much, in my opinion. And then he doesn't play the media right. Luka is the dominant ball handler on this team. He plays the media pretty well. And like, just his personality and everything. Same thing with Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards has like the personality thing going with him. Same thing with Luka. So that's what I feel like he's the next face of the NBA. I feel like he should have won MVP this year, but I could definitely see the argument for Shea as well.
Yeah, you kind of mentioned just how when we're talking about face of the NBAs, we kind of just didn't really even mention Jokic earlier, and that's really like his media stuff and stuff like that. Like, he doesn't look like he has fun playing basketball out there. I mean,
he cares about horses.
Yes, he cares more about his horses. But and that's like, I think that's really why, why it's kind of surprising he's still getting these MVPs when, again, why he's not the face of the NBA. He won a championship last year, won finals MVP. Amazing year. Should have won the regular season MVP. But yeah, he just kind of reminds me of back when like Kawhi Leonard was leading those Raptors teams. Like, it was like people were saying when Kawhi Leonard retires, we're not going to hear anything from him. And that's going to be kind of the same thing from Jokic. I feel like once he's done the NBA, we might not hear a lot about him until maybe his Hall of Fame speech.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Shea was amazing this year. I feel like the only reason you'd give it to Shea over Luka is because his team did better. They had pretty similar stats, so I could see why Shea could do that. But I still feel like Luka's the better overall player, and I feel like he means more to the Mavericks than Shea. But I definitely could see it all. They were all three deserving of the award. I just don't like how Luka's just like not even being brought up at all. It was kind of like everyone's like, "Oh, Jokic is just running away with it." I'm like, no, he's like he shouldn't be running away with it. This should be very close call between these three. And I don't know. Have they even released how many votes each one of them got?
They did. I can try to find that real quick.
Find that before we go to break, because next segment we're gonna go into preview softball Big Ten tournament a little bit. Once we go to break, but I want to get these final votes because I want to see how close it was. I didn't even look at it.
Nikola Jokic had 926 total votes, 79 first place. SGA had 640 votes, 15 first place. And then Luka had 566 votes for first place.
I mean, that's pretty close.
And then Giannis had a first place vote because why not? Domantas Sabonis got an MVP vote.
See, there's always the silly person in there, but I don't know, man. I just don't like Luka's name is just, I don't get it. I don't understand. It should have been closer. I don't know why Jokic is just like quote unquote running away with it. But with that, we're gonna throw it to break. When we come back, like I said, we're gonna go into softball talk. Big Ten tournament gonna be coming up here rather soon. So we kind of want to touch on that a little bit before wrapping up the show. So you're listening to the Daily Nebraskan Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Here you go. Coffee's on me and my new BFF. I thought I was your best friend forever. BFF like best financial friend at Members Own Credit Union. Right now, they're offering $100 when you consolidate or transfer a loan or an existing credit card balance and meet requirements. Plus, you get great rates and free advice from a financial partner that will put you first. That sounds like a match made in heaven. Members Own Credit Union is the type of bestie you can count on. Get started today at memberzonecu.org/BFF. Limitations may apply. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey, Husker Nation, Matt Davison here with 1890. It's an exciting time to be a Husker fan, and to keep that momentum going, we need your help. Nebraska has always been a leader in college athletics, and we're doing the same through name, image, and likeness. NIL is a unique opportunity for every Husker fan to have a direct impact on the success of our programs. Through 1890, 100% of your contribution goes to the student athletes. So go to 1890nebraska.com, choose your sport, become a member, and help the Huskers recruit and retain the best. Go Big Red.
Angela, we have to break up.
But why?
Because you're a robot and I'm just a guy trying to get better internet.
It's Allo Fiber, isn't it? I always knew you wanted faster speeds. My contract isn't good enough for you.
Face it, Angela, they let me talk to real people.
Press 4 to break my heart. Oh wait, you already did.
Visit allofiber.com to switch today.
For over 15 years, Integrated Life Choices has empowered individuals with disabilities in Lincoln and throughout Nebraska. They provide comprehensive services from group homes and independent living services to job training, ensuring fulfilling lives for those that they serve. Now, they're inviting you to join their mission. If you are passionate about making a difference in the lives of people with developmental disabilities, explore rewarding career opportunities with them. Learn more about their services and apply today at www.ilc.net. Be a part of Integrated Life Choices, where your work truly changes lives. Spring in Nebraska brings green grass and warmer weather, but it also brings severe storms which can cause damage to your home. Meadowlark Exterior specializes in hail, storm, and wind damage restoration, as well as roofing, siding, and gutters for commercial or residential buildings. Meadowlark Exteriors focuses on fine craftsmanship and proves that in their attention to detail. They offer free roof inspections and estimates and insurance claim assistance, serving the Lincoln and Omaha surrounding areas. Call today at 402-875-2956 or go to meadowlarkexteriors.com.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mixed Concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. Nebco offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they pay for CDL training. Apply today and start your new career with a $2,500 hiring bonus. From Nebco's beginning in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
Spring often marks the beginning of severe weather, which can lead to power outages. LES wants you to be prepared before the storm. Restock your emergency kit, update your info with LES, and if you encounter an outage, report it at les.com/report.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
The end of the school year is drawing near. which means graduation parties are coming soon. Are you prepared for that if you're hosting? Fierce Cheese Spread is the dip that brings everyone together to celebrate graduations and to close out a great school year. And it goes well with crackers, meats, soups, and more. How could you throw a party without it? Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Fierce Cheese Spread. No graduation party is complete without it. Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello and welcome back into the Daily Nebraskan show right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Ben and Anthony still here with you for just a few more minutes. We're going to wrap up the show with some Huskers softball talk because Big Ten tournament is right around the corner. What is the specific date that it started?
It started today, actually.
It started today.
Nebraska had a nice first day bye as the seed. Top fours earned a
It started
single bye.
today. Yeah, they play tomorrow.
Yep.
So they play tomorrow against Minnesota at 1:30. Nebraska, which was not, they just played Minnesota, won the weekend series 2-1. So kind of gives us a good taste of what to expect. Every one of the games was pretty close. The Nebraska game on Friday, Nebraska won against Minnesota 7-6. On Saturday, they won 8-3, but then lost the Sunday game 7-5. Kind of similar to baseball, pitching always makes the Sunday game kind of tough. With Jordy Ball getting hurt at the beginning of the year and all. But Nebraska, I feel like, is the better team. So Nebraska can get a first round. Well, I guess first round, second round. I don't even know. They can get their first game win here in the Big Ten tournament. Do I think they're going to win the whole Big Ten tournament? No. If they would win the whole Big Ten tournament, then they might be able to make the NCAA tournament. But the tournament seems kind of out of reach unless they do win this entire tournament.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough road to the championship with them drawing the 4 seed. They will most likely play the number 1 seed Northwestern in the semifinal if they win. I think semifinal, yep. But yeah, Minnesota played today. They played 12 seed Illinois, won 10-7 in 9 innings. So big long game for them. Might do it fare even well for Nebraska with a team having a very quick turnaround from an extra inning game just the night before. So yeah, should be an interesting game.
I think Nebraska gets this win against Minnesota tomorrow, but we'll see. We're going to be able to recap it tomorrow's show because we're going to have our last weeknight show tomorrow, 11 to 12. It'll be me and Joseph. So whatever, we're going to want to touch on the softball game a little bit, so we'll give our thoughts on that and see how they do. But until then, we're out of here. See ya.
High schoolers, unleash your creativity and learn about potential careers in broadcasting at the Digital Expressions Media Camp.